Hello, everyone. Welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick, and this is my daily ramble. Sorry about the lack of post-match reaction last night. You're probably going to find that quite a lot on the Thursdays. I trained my boys on a Thursday night. I did manage to watch the game, though, because it was an early kickoff. John, unfortunately, Freddie had a game, so he couldn't make it either. And Gary's currently building his shed, but maybe Gary will be able to do them on Thursdays. But nonetheless, I've got a little post-match the following day reaction for you. As always, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe because it does really help us. Drop a like on the video. And as always, if you're new to the channel, we are sponsored by the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company. You'll find a link to their website in our description. If you like your tea and your coffee, as we all do, that place is great. Much better than your supermarket brands, much cheaper. They do everything. Coffee beans, coffee grounds, your fancy teas, tea bags, Pluckley tea. If you like your normal tea, Pluckley tea is one that I recommend. It's fantastic. I'm addicted. Right, but anyway, on with the show. Oh, before I go anywhere, Claret 15, you get 15% off. Forgot to give that bit. Yeah, so if you put in the discount code Claret 15, you get 15% off. Right, West Ham went and broke the English record last night away at Freiburg, who are a good team, with no away supporters, apart from a couple that managed to sneak in and tried to keep themselves under wraps, apart from some dickheads on social media that were trying to expose them. Apparent West Ham fans, grassing other West Ham fans, just what you want to see, innit? But yeah, it was a typical German kind of arena, really well supported team. They're a decent team as well. They're kind of doing as well as us in the Bundesliga at the moment. They're just a good solid team. When the teams were announced, I weren't sure what was going on, because it just looked like a fucking scramble of players. I thought, what is that? A back three, a back five? I didn't know what it was. But as it soon materialised, it was a three at the back with kind of I don't know. It was like a five in midfield. We were playing with quite high wing backs, and we were pressing high, which we don't see from us very often, which was quite nice to see. I think we took Freiburg by surprise because I did make the little joke, the little quip on Twitter that Moyes is playing five at the back. He must be scared of the Germans. But as it played out in the first half, the Germans were scared of us because they couldn't lay a glove on us at all. We were impressive in that first half. But yeah, look, before I sort of get into the game, West Ham have gone 17 games unbeaten in Europe. Now, irrespective of what people want to say, what I've said before about the quality of opposition, this, that, the other, you've only got to look at Aston Villa, Brighton, teams like that. It's not easy to do what we've done. So credit where it's due. It's a fantastic record, and we are now the record holders. 17 games unbeaten, 16 of them were wins. You can't really knock that, can you? You can't knock it. And like I say, Freiburg are a good team. Fiorentina are in there as well. Look, AZ were no pushovers. So we're consistent. We are consistent. We're efficient. In Europe, we get the job done. We do get the job done. And I think in cup competitions, that's generally what you get. I think successful teams are teams like that in the cup competitions. I think we've got players now that kind of fit that mould. We look like winners now in that competition. We look kind of calm and collected. I did worry when they came out in the second half. They scored, and they could have got another one as well. We always seem to come out sleepwalking in the second half, but we've got the character, we've got the ability in the team to just kind of do what we need to do, go up a few gears. We've got that cheat code that is James Ward-Prowse. That's and the big towering giants in the team for him to aim at. Do you know what I mean? It's a good blend, and particularly for Europe, I wouldn't be surprised to see us go quite far. Even though the competition we're in this year is a harder competition. I don't think anyone's going to want to play us in Europe. Put it that way. But the game started really, really well. We were fantastic. It was a high press. We were pressing them all over the pitch. Paquetá was just outstanding. It started the game as more of a forward, I thought. I thought Kudus, Bowen, Paquetá, they were kind of dynamic. They were sort of switching and going all up wherever they wanted it seemed. Freiburg couldn't track them. And all three of those players were outstanding. They were, Kudus looks brilliant. He's got to be a starter very, very soon. And I do want to see Moyes persist with Kudus and Bowen, because I think Kudus is going to score a lot of goals for West Ham. I do. Him and Bowen looked lethal. They shoot on sight. They do. There's no kind of hesitation from them. They're very direct. They're direct runners. I think Caduce's got a little bit more trickery about him, but they're very similar in some ways. And yeah, Caduce has got an eye for goal. He's going to score goals. And Paquetá, like I say, he was in full flow yesterday. He just runs the game. He runs the game. I often worry, when I've seen Paquetá sort of pushed out wide left by David Moyes to make space for Souček and stuff like that. I've worried because you think, you've seen what's happened to Paquetá and players like that. I just don't think you can fuck Paquetá up. I think you could play him in goal. I just think he's that good, He'd find a match-winning pass from the other end of the pitch. He's outstanding. He really is. He must be an absolute joy to manage. And I know David Moyes came out with his comments after the game, called him a maverick, said he drives him mad, but he's unbelievable. So it was good to see Moyes give Paquetá some proper credit because he is. I'm telling you, I said it on Twitter yesterday. I think if you've done a Premier League 11, Paquetá's in there. Paquetá is in there without any shadow of a doubt. So I think we've got to enjoy Paquetá while we've got him. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world when he does inevitably move on because we're going to get an awful lot of money for him. Not as much as we should mind because of the silly bloody release clause we've got, 85 million. But it's still a big fee. We've made a profit on him. And we've got the likes of Caduce in there, Hopefully there'll be the next Paquetá brought in through the door. Now we've got Tim Stein that sort of knows the transfer market. I'm pretty sure that whatever happens now, and we all know about Bowen. You saw my video yesterday. We know what's happening there. Hopefully, you never know. Maybe that story getting out might shame Bowen. It could do. You don't know what sort of character he is. He might get embarrassed. Maybe Danny Dyer didn't know. Maybe I've let the cat out of the bag. Maybe Danny Dyer went round here and said, "Oi, what you playing at, son? What you playing at?" So look, you never know. You never know. Deck was always going to move, irrespective. He'd made his mind up. That was never going to change. We don't know about Bowen. Maybe his mind is for changing. You don't know. I hope it is. I'd like to keep him. I could do without losing Paquetá and Bowen next season. But look, it was a fantastic game. Frustrating that we came out in the second half the same as we come out in every second half this season. I don't know what gets said at half time. I ain't got a clue. But we did let them back in. Freiburg came out like a completely different team, and so did we. We let them back into the game. They could, within a space of 10 minutes, been 2-1 up. They could have. So very sloppy from us in that sense, but we got back in front and we got control of the game. And like I said, with players like Paquetá, it can just take the sting out of the game. I know that people don't like his kind of theatrical diving and stuff like that. Look, typically you don't. I hate it when I see it from opposition fans. But the guy he's a piss taker. He's a disruptive influence. It's what he does. He tries to kill the flow of the game for the opposition. And he does it unapologetically. He does. He doesn't care. He's so blatantly obvious with what he's doing. I love the guy. I can't criticise him in any way. You're not going to change him. So you've got to embrace him, warts and all. And I think he's one of those players as well that if and when he does move on, Paquetá, West Ham fans will love him forever. He'll be like a Tevez character. He's going to be like a Di Canio because the guy is such a happy, positive influence. And I do genuinely believe that Paquetá will always have affection for West Ham. I think he's enjoying his time at West Ham. I do. You've only got to look at the Instagram clips from his wife, when all the rumours broke about Paquetá moving on to Man City. She put a post out there to say how her boys, in their full kit, love West Ham, love coming to the training ground. Paquetá's son's birthday party just recently. It was a West Ham birthday party. West Ham banners, balloons, all the kids in West Ham kits. He does love the club. But it'll be a miracle if we can keep him because that is a guy that is destined for the very, very top. He really is. He's like when we had, I don't want to get into the Payet-Paquetá debate again, but like when we had Payet, even though Payet should have gone to another club if he hadn't have, he probably could have gone anywhere in the world at that point if he didn't have the problems that he clearly had. But Paquetá can as well. I think he could just slot into any team. Man City, he'd improve Man City. He would. So no, we've got a great player there. It was a good performance. I'm proud of the boys. I think Moyes got it bang on as well. Not so much with the selection because I think he made us weak on the left-hand side, which was exposed in that second half. Not so much in the first half, but in the second half, having Kehrer, who's right-sided, out on the left, and Fornals, who's right-sided, out on the left, was quickly unpicked, and that's what they targeted in that second half. So it weren't a bang-on team selection, but he did correct it. He brought Emerson on. He took Fornals off. He put Souček on. Yeah, he did well. He did do well, I thought. Um, yeah, I can't criticise that at all. Like I say, I'm actually I'm actually feeling quite proud of the fact that we've gone that far in Europe. 17 games unbeaten is a serious record. By anyone's standards. So well done, well done, boys. And I'm going to say it, well done, boys, on this occasion. All right, well done. But why I'm really excited is because what we're seeing is the evolution of West Ham. West Ham, we're on an upwards trajectory. We are. We've got quality of players. And this is why I get so caught up and why I get so angry with sometimes the way that we set out and the way that we play. And also when some of our fans come out and say, look, we're not Man City. You can't play that way. We're a fucking good team. We've got quality throughout. So I'm excited for the future because it's going to go one of two ways. West Ham are going in that direction. I'm confident of it. I think we are. Either David Moyes adapts himself a little bit and he gets on board with this team and goes with them because I'm not saying he can't. So either David Moyes succeeds or he doesn't and somebody else will come in and succeed. But I think West Ham, I don't think anyone's going to stop the West Ham train rolling now. They're not. And that isn't demeaning David Moyes. I've always said David Moyes has done very well to build the blocks to get us to where we are. Whether or not he can take us to that next stage and keep us going as we get newer, better quality of players coming in, that's yet to be seen. We'll see what happens. But we have got an outstanding team now in terms of talent throughout. It's exciting times for West Ham. It genuinely is. So I'm happy to see how this season plays out. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I'm not looking forward to the game at the weekend against Newcastle. You all know that. Not because they beat PSG. If anything, that could play in our favour. They've probably been out on the piss for 2 days celebrating that one. But Newcastle are a good team. I do believe, and I stand by it, so far this season, we have invited far too many chances onto our goal. Far too many. And we haven't been punished for it. At some point, we're going to get walloped. Man City should have been 6, 7, 8. It should have been. Haaland missed a hat-trick of chances. He missed an open goal. At some point, we're going to get an absolute battering if we keep on playing that way. I think Newcastle are a team that can do that because they're clinical in front of goal. If you give them loads of chances, you're fucked. They're when they beat us 5-1 last year, we didn't play that bad, but they got their chances. They scored them. They are like that. They're clinical. They're absolutely brutal in front of goal. So I'm hoping that we take a slightly different tactic against Newcastle and we take the game to them, press them back. That's what I think you need to do. We can't keep just inviting teams on. All great. You can call it a masterclass when the other team ain't got their shooting boots on and they're missing chances. But at some point, we're going to get stung. We are. So it's going to be an interesting one. That I'm looking forward to it. Newcastle on Sunday. But no, look, going back to Freiburg. Freiburg are a very good team. I think they showed some absolute class as well in that stadium, in a similar way to how the Bayern Munich fans did with their banners. Freiburg had a massive banner up, basically criticising UEFA for not allowing away fans into the stadium. And when I've seen Freiburg opposition fans on YouTube channels doing their talk, they're saying the same thing. They're like, Freiburg want West Ham fans there. Football is nothing without the fans, and you can't have that banter, that back and forth. So it was probably a bit odd for them as well because they're. What it's like. You wind each other up throughout the game. You kind of motivate each other. Both sets of fans do. So yeah, it was a shame, but I think we're over that now anyway. We're over that now, unless that dickhead West Ham Central hasn't dropped anyone in it, so we get a further punishment. But I'm sure that won't be the case. I'm sure that won't be the case. But yeah, so look, that's it from me. Well done, West Ham. Very, very happy with that. Yeah, Lucas Paquetá, man, you're a god. That ball that you played through to Bowen at the end was just not right. It weren't right at all. You're an unbelievable talent. You are. If Bowen had tucked that away, he went for a rocket rather than to place it. But if he'd have tucked that away, my God, what a goal that would have been. Yeah, we're lucky to have him. We're lucky to have a lot of these players as well. So let's see what happens on Sunday. If you enjoyed the show, please drop a like on it and subscribe if you haven't already. All right. See you soon. Gavin, you ads.